What's going on, guys? How you all doing? Oh man, we got a nice Sixers win today. They took the series by the horn. They did a really good job, I thought, today. It wasn't even just about the offensive rebounding. It was the fact that this team just came together. They made some awesome shots. What? They're gonna be they're gonna be just fine, in all honesty. Now, obviously, Joel Embiid, we don't know if he's gonna be fine or anything like that. That is something that we kind of have to just wait and see. But I really feel like that this is going to be a time where they just have to get rest. This team needs rest. And I think that Doc said it perfectly. He said that basically, in regards to this team, they just have to try to get as much rest as possible. Make sure that Joel's okay because you obviously want him to be all right. But this was a really big game that they won today, and I'm proud of the squad for rallying around the troops, for coming together, and they did their job. Tobias Harris was sensational today. He led the team in scoring. I was looking at him, taking these step back jumpers that looked absolutely ridiculous, and he just looked so in sync with his shots. And I was really proud of that. How about Paul Reed? I didn't even get to b-ball Paul. 8 offensive rebounds? Whew. That's why you got to play him as the backup center, Doc. That's what he does. I've been saying it for so long. I'm always right. Doc, you don't have to disagree with me because you know what? I'm right. Because I know certain things. And I'm proud that he played as many minutes today as he did because they needed every single minute out of that guy today. It's funny how they tried Montrezl Harrell for 5 minutes. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, that ain't going to work. But then the really interesting thing, is that he went to Jalen McDaniels to start off the fourth quarter as the backup center. And I never thought about it, but it made a lot of sense. Totally made a lot of sense. And so I was really proud. So before I take your calls, before we get into the phone lines, obviously, there are a couple of other things I want to get off my chest. But before I even do that, I just wanted to remind you guys, make sure that you join the Discord down below. We're going to be airing your calls. If you guys have thoughts about the Sixers tonight, if you have thoughts about the series that you want to get off your chest, make sure that you join, as the description is down below in the comments section. Thanks to my friend Gabe Venuto. Got to give him a big shout out, man. He's been absolutely terrific, and he has been, really helping me with this channel. You should definitely go subscribe to his channel too for Minecraft. So you can put that down below in the description too if he wants to. He is my man. But before I take any of your calls, I just have to tell you that even though James Harden didn't have such a great shooting day at the office, I thought that he actually played really well down the stretch. The Sixers need the James Harden, and it's just so funny to me because I keep thinking to myself, okay, well, this team is different because in years past, Ben Simmons was your primary ball handler. And this dude wasn't even taking mid-range jumpers. And so therefore, he had to be in the lane and clog up the spacing. Now James Harden's an actual point guard who can shoot the basketball, and even though he wasn't shooting the ball very well today, you have to put all eyes on him. So that opens up the open floor for so many other people. They struggled with passing the rock around early on, but then in that second half, James Harden said to himself, I can actually try to make Paul Reed into a rim runner, which is like what he absolutely is. I have to use him to my advantage. I can conduct this offense. I can be the composer, if you will. And that's why they won this game. And Brooklyn had every single opportunity to take the bull by the horn. Game 2, the Sixers were like, you know what? We can give it to you if you want it. You just got to take it. Game 3, same thing. They just could not come up large down the stretch. And I got to give credit to Paul Reed's defense, but it was also just the fact that, guys like Joe Harris really got to sink. And they just weren't doing such a great job with spacing because the Sixers defense was great on the perimeter. They closed out a lot more today, and they were awesome. Now, let's talk a little bit for a quick second about Joel Embiid, because I know we're going to have a future pod, right, talking about once the second round is official on when it's going to start. We will talk more about our concerns about Joel. Am I worried? Yes. Of course I'm worried. But there is something about this team. There is like this little hunger, if you will, that they're playing with. They have an edge to them right now. I'm not telling you that they're going to win the series if they have to play Boston without Joel Embiid, but what I am saying is that they don't get this done today, Embiid doesn't get as much rest. And now he has a week at least to rest. So I'm really happy that this team finally got it together in the second half, and they played really well. PJ Tucker was a dog. This team just kept out rebounding the Brooklyn Nets, man. It did. Nets had a lot of opportunities, and they were doing a good job on defense, but how many second chance opportunities did the Sixers get today? And that's because Doc is playing the all-athletic lineups. So I got to tip my cap to Doc Rivers because it's working out. And everything that he's been doing has been great. I will say, Devon Givens, I was listening to 97.5 The Fanatic today during the pregame show. And the one thing that he said, and I totally agree with him on this, say what you want about Doc Rivers. Say what you want about all the 3-1 blows. Every single time that there has to be like an in-game, or sorry, like a pregame adjustment, like if they know that like that somebody's going to be out, Doc has done a pretty good job at figuring out a game plan to try to get more people touches. And I thought that the ball movement at the very beginning was very stale, and they only had 6 assists at halftime. That's not going to win you a lot of games. James Harden didn't even have any assists in the first quarter. And that's why you were losing the way that you were. The Sixers made them pay, and it felt like that they were down by 40 today at one point. But when you went into the half, you were only down by 6 points. And because of that, the team that had more talent outdueled you. So that's all I got to say about Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers and the Sixers team. I really, really loved like what they actually showed today. I thought that they showed a lot of fight. PJ Tucker continues to be a dog. Playoff PJ is like totally for real. He is so good. I didn't even get into DeAnthony Melton yet, and I kind of wanted to save him for last, but I thought that DeAnthony Melton was a dog. Man, those threes that he hit in that fourth quarter, kaboom. Every single one of those threes was a statement. You can't leave me wide open because I'm going to drain those threes. You want to see me drain those threes? I'll make you pay. And then you have Nick Claxton flexing at the end, going all out into James Harden's face, just trying to get into his head. And I'm just like, bro, like you're losing the game. like there's no need to like flex your firepower, if you will, if you're losing by like 12 points. That's so sickening. So anyhow, I thought that was great. Melton had all 15 of his points in that fourth quarter, and that was really key. Because if you don't get those points, you don't win this game. So I just thought that overall in this series, when I take a look at the bigger picture of how this series went down, the strategy by Jacques Vaughn, and rightfully so, was to throw the entire kitchen sink at Joel Embiid, make him feel uncomfortable, make him pay every single time that he gets the ball, get it out of his hands. Game 1, this team shot the 3-ball absurdly well. They were making everything. It was like that Milwaukee game that they played a couple of years ago on Christmas Day, where just all the shots were hitting, and guys like Al Horford and Josh Richardson. Man, we had those guys on our team. Wow, look at how far we've come now. But all those guys were making those shots. And that's how game 1 ended. The game 2, we had a colder version of James Harden. Embiid wasn't as dominant as he was, but the Sixers grinded that one out. And game 3, it was just like a football battle. It was a war zone. And they still got it done, even with all the physicality that there was. The reason why that they won this whole series, the whole themes between games 2, 3, and 4 were that they just had the better talent. And they were the more physical team. They don't get those offensive rebounds. They're a different team. Part of me wants to say that and I know that we'll talk about it as we move further down the road and we go into the second round, but if they want to beat Boston, the one thing that they're going to have to continue to do is fight for those offensive rebounds. I think that that has to be something that's drawn up in Doc Rivers' game plan. But yeah, I'm proud of this team with how they battled through the adversity today. Guys like Shake Milton had to come in and get a couple of minutes. Tyrese Maxey, I thought, played really well at certain points. James Harden, if I'm being a little bit nitpicky, those bunnies, man, like he has to do a better job at cashing those in. But he got his teammates involved, played some awesome defense at the very end. And Paul Reed was just like the better center out there, even over Nick Claxton. And that's saying something. My gosh. They're fun to watch. When everybody's competing at a high level, they're absolutely fun to watch. All right. We're going to go to the phones. All right. But I just wanted to remind you guys, for those of you that are new to my channel, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Okay. We'll be back on here tomorrow afternoon for a Phillies game. Sorry about that. I'm like losing track of a lot of things, losing track of my points. But anyhow, we'll be back on here for the Phillies tomorrow. I just wanted to be sure to come on here and express how I felt about this whole entire series, because the Sixers really just dominated the Brooklyn Nets, and there's nothing else that I can say about that. They were just the more physical team, the more athletic team, and they flexed their firepower on the defensive side. But anyhow, all right, we're going to go to the phones. If you guys want to join in on the conversation, right? If you guys want to talk about the Sixers, we're only doing Sixers-related stuff today, okay? We're not doing Phillies. We're not doing anything else. There's going to be a time and a place where we do Phillies stuff. We'll be on for a post-game show tomorrow for a series recap. That'll be tomorrow night. But tonight we're talking about the Sixers because they played an impressive game today, and they deserve our love. Fun to watch. I'm proud. All right. So we're going to go to our very, very first phone call. Let's see who we have here. Oh, is anyone in there? Nope. I thought we had somebody in there. All right. Oh, well. Well, when somebody else comes in, you guys can come in. You can join if you want to have your voice heard or anything on Play by Play with JJ. Just join the Discord server. The link is in the chat down below. And you can totally join in, and feel free to join in on the conversation. The one other thing I want to add too about the Sixers team is that while they didn't shoot the 3-ball really well today, I thought that overall that they got their senses together, and Tobias Harris was one of those guys that just did a great job at guarding the perimeter. Seriously, I thought that he was really awesome. And playoff Toby is starting to be a really big thing too. So, I'm proud. And I thought that he was great. Doc Rivers had some interesting quotes after the game, and I didn't write any of them down, but basically, the one thing that I thought was interesting is that not only did he talk about how this team has to get rest, and it's not about just the reps, he also said that Paul Reed really has been somebody who's been absolutely stepping up, and Tyrese Maxey's play, like he even acknowledged like the little things that went on today. And I thought that those were all good things that he brought up because it's the littlest things that the Sixers had to do in order to get the job done today. Because when you're missing Joel Embiid, who is your piece, he's your franchise, he's your cornerstone, right? He's your centerpiece. He's this guy that he makes such a big difference every single time he's out there. It's not even just about the offense; it's about the defense too. Who was going to fill in to those shoes, and how are they going to step up? And everybody stepped up, and they were awesome. Yeah, man. Hopefully the Sixers can, try to do a good job in the series against Boston. But we'll just have to wait and see how everything goes. The MVP voting, it is what it is at this point in regards to Joel Embiid. He either wins it or he doesn't. But I love the type of energy that this team has right now. They are locked in. They have a one-track mind right now. They're focused. They're dialed in. And every single thing that you see out there is just adding up to playoff basketball. I don't know if they can keep this up in the next series, but this was a really good indicator to me as to how the next series is going to go for the Sixers when it comes to even just the little things like DeAnthony Melton. I think he's going to have to. I think he's going to have some impact defensively, especially when it comes to his athleticism. My man, literally, jumped over Nick Claxton today just to grab a rebound and take it from him. Bro, Nick Claxton, really thinks he's all that. But really, at the end of the day, Paul Reed, gave you an ass whooping, man. He did. All that talk for what? All that trash talking to Joel Embiid for what? You want to talk trash? You got to back it up. He didn't back it up. There's also the same guy that actually had a goose egg in game 2. And I won't really even harp more on that. But, no, I give the Sixers a lot of credit. I also really feel like that Tyrese Maxey had a really big series in a lot of ways. I know that he's going to hit this sort of a wall, and he has to, overcome adversity in order to get better. If they're just going to be double teaming Joel, though, as many times as they do, Maxey's going to be left wide open. What are you going to do if he's left wide open? You're going to put a defender on him? Don't know. You have to put somebody on him. You can't just leave him wide open, or else he'll make threes. Make another guy beat you, like PJ Tucker, or even Tobias Harris, who's gotten so much better at catching and shooting. I know I'm all over the place today, but my man is literally every single time he gets the ball and James Harden passes it right to him, splash. Sixers are back, baby. They're fun. All right. Well, before we get going, right? Because I don't see anybody in the call yet. Again, if you want to join in on the conversation, you obviously can. Just join the Discord server down below and go over to the voice channel and just come over and talk with JJ, man. So, what's up, Aiden? I appreciate you coming on, man. There was one other thing I wanted to say, and I forget what it was. We'll be talking. Whoops. Did I mess that up? Okay, good. Oh, where's my screen? There it is. We'll be talking more about this team. I'm just really proud of the way that they that they played today. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Doc Rivers, if he can keep up having a good game plan and he doesn't do a bad job with the rotations, he played James Harden like the entire fourth quarter. He's pushing all the right buttons. I've been so tough on Doc Rivers. And he's been doing everything right. And I hope he can continue that. I actually thought that in some ways that he outcoached Jacque Vaughn. Even though Jacque Vaughn, I thought, did all the right things, I did lose a little bit of respect for him because of how petty he is. But I thought that overall he did a good job coaching. But Doc Rivers pushed all the right buttons. There was one possession today where I saw Tyrese Maxey. All right, and you'll see where I'm going with this. Tyrese Maxey was like very early on in the first quarter. He had a bad pass. He tried to kick it out to it wasn't Paul Reed, it was somebody else. It was like PJ Tucker or it was Jalen McDaniels. Tried to kick it out to Jalen McDaniels as he was taking it right to the into the lane. And the pass was a little bit wide. And Doc was like all fired up on the bench, like, come on. Like, why are we making those types of plays? You can't be doing that. You got to be aggressive. You got to go out there and be a dog yourself. And you know what he did on the very next play? This dude stole the ball, and he was on a fast break, and he made a layup, and Brooklyn then called a timeout. That lit a fire under him. It's those little things that I take a look at when I'm watching this basketball team play. You have to light a fire somewhat, or somehow, and it worked. Just continue to keep that up in the next series. And let's hope that Joel Embiid gets his rest because he needs it. He has to be fully healthy. If the team wants to compete against Boston, he has to be fully healthy. All right, so if no one's gonna get on, do we have anybody on here? I don't think we do. All right, I think that we're gonna close up shop. If you guys do want to come on though in the future, right? You can join the Discord server. We'll be back on tomorrow, and so if you want to join in on the calls and have your voice being heard all over Play-by-Play with JJ Airways, make sure you do that, man. That's going to wrap things up here. All right, I'm Jason Joseph. This was Play-by-Play with JJ on the postgame pod for the 76ers Brooklyn Nets series. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon at 12 o'clock p.m. for the Phillies game. We also have a highlight reel coming out tonight on the whole best calls of the Brooklyn 76ers series as well. So be on the lookout for that. That'll drop at midnight. And yeah, man, I'll see you all tomorrow. Catch you all in the next one. Peace out.